Hello, everybody. Hello, people of the internet. This is going to be the top 5 characters I'd like to see in Star Wars: The Bad Batch. I'm going to leave out characters that have been kind of heavily rumored or are kind of really, really surefire bets. These are kind of that kind of next tier of it would make sense for them to show up, but there's been no rumors about them, and there's kind of been less buzz about them showing up, I guess. But let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. So, number 5, I got Kallus, Agent Kallus, Alexander Kallus from Star Wars Rebels. And I think he'd be a really cool inclusion. I really grew to love that character. From season 2 of Rebels and on, they really started kind of fleshing him out, humanizing him. And, in that episode with Zeb, that first episode, where he kind of started to see more of um, his depth as a character and potential as a character. The honorable ones, he speaks to Zeb about, my first unit in the Empire was on Onderon. So we've got Onderon in the Bad Batch trailer, right? So that leads me to believe that we're going to see Kallus on Onderon, trying to take down Saw Gerrera and his partisans, And I think that that's definitely a potential direction they could go. They've kind of planted that seed. The siege on Onderon, Obi-Wan mentions in Clone Wars season 7. There's a lot of small ties there, and I think, seeing Kallus on Onderon, and I guess by extension Saw Gerrera, who has been rumored, I think that you could definitely have an interesting story there if you bring Kallus in. And I guess that takes us to number 4. We got Senator Chuchi. So if you don't remember Senator Chuchi, season 1 of the Clone Wars, that episode in the ice, on that, it's the planet's called Auto Plutonia, and basically Chuchi is the one fighting for peace with the Tals. They're like those Yeti ice people, and she's from the moon Pantora, right? We've seen Pantora in the trailer, and as a Republic senator, maybe she's, maybe when the Empire rises and the Republic collapses, when the Bad Batch go there, maybe she's there, and we see something about her reacting, to the Empire, to Palpatine's kind of big master plan coming to fruition. And I guess by extension, Mon Mothma, Senator Organa, how are they reacting to this? I guess those last two wouldn't be very happy about it, Mon Mothma and Bail, because, obviously we see the major parts of the rebellion. But I think focusing on Chuchi specifically, I really like her character. She's quite, I guess, niche in the sense that she's only in a few episodes, but I think that she makes a really good impact in those few episodes, and I think it'd be nice to see more of her. And I think this series is the perfect place to do it. Moving on to number 3, we have Hondo Honaka. My Hondo impression isn't the greatest, but Hondo, who actually exists that doesn't like Hondo? I'm a bit concerned for you if you don't like Hondo. Hondo was amazing. And Hondo just kind of fits, I think, in everything they put him in. Some people don't like him much in Rebels. I kind of get that, but I think he works well. And he was at Galaxy's Edge recently. I'm surprised they haven't brought him to live action. Maybe Mando Season 3, we'll see. But I think, his home was obviously in animation. So we've got another animated series in the style of the Clone Wars here. Why not put Hondo in? We're in that kind of mercenary bounty hunters world. I think that it'd be perfect opportunity to put Hondo in, maybe see the fallout with how he mentions in Rebels, my crew is the Empire took them from me, so his pirate crew's gone. So maybe we could see that happen, and just he'd be someone we can kind of progress him to where he is that kind of jokier old man in Rebels, which they kind of started with that younglings arc. He cares for Gatuni, that youngling, and you can kind of see him. He's got a heart of gold, I suppose, or he kind of develops that heart of gold. We kind of see that through line to Rebels in this. I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah, and Hondo, just the kind of lines we can get out of him. He's just so funny. So Hondo, number 3. Number 2, Cad Bane. And I suppose similarly to Hondo, he would just fit in that kind of bounty hunting, smuggling, mercenary underworld that we're going to get into. We've heard the Bad Batch are going to become mercenaries. So Cad Bane seems like somebody that I definitely think could show up. We've already got a bounty hunter in the series in Fennec Shand. I guess that could lead to Boba Fett. Maybe they knew each other before Mandalorian, which then leads to you get that shootout maybe from the unfinished Clone Wars arc with Cad Bane and Boba Fett. So there's like a lot of kind of things they could do there. You know, Cad Bane, we've been waiting for a long time. We haven't seen him since season 4 of Clone Wars. We've got little references to him here and there. In Clone Wars season 7, you know, there's that indirect reference. I think it's Rafa that says like, oh, some red-eyed alien, you know, and in the portal on Coruscant, they're referencing Cad Bane, and then Sabine's got art on her wall in Rebels. So there's all these like little nods to him, but we actually haven't seen him in the flesh. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to do it. If you're going to do it, you do it in Bad Batch. Book of Boba Fett, some people say. I think do either, but I think do this because it's coming out soon. So I want to see Cad Bane as soon as possible. And I think it'd just be great. Maybe he's kind of a season 2 character, but I definitely think they've got to get him in at some point here. Because he's one of the ones that we just haven't got resolution for. And moving on to number 1, we have the man himself, Darth Vader. And it kind of seems like a given that he'd be in this series, right? Because we have Palpatine and Tarkin in the trailer. That kind of completes the Empire trifecta if you get Vader in there. And just seeing kind of a directly post-Rots Vader, I think is super interesting. Rots being Revenge of the Sith. And so we've kind of got that detailed in those Vader comics. If you've read those, he's kind of not fully committed to the dark side yet. He's still in that kind of, gotta say Padme. You know, it's an interesting kind of area that he's in there. So I think if we even dig into just a little bit more of that could be really compelling for this series. He's obviously met the Bad Batch's Anakin, so there's a bit of a through line there. But just seeing him, like, you know, leading the 501st, but this time it's an Imperial 501st. There's a lot you can do with Darth Vader, and you know, he's in the end of Clone Wars with those stormtroopers, with those snowtroopers. They've got the asset in that Clone Wars style. So I think there's every chance for him to show up. You can't tell, you know, the story of the birth of the Empire, which essentially is what this series is, without, I think, Darth Vader, you know? And just seeing that shift of power in the galaxy, Darth Vader is such a prominent figure in the Empire. You've got to put him in at some point. And I don't think we will get to the extent of kind of character building that we got in Rebels, because you kind of had the Ahsoka tie there. It makes sense. But I think that they could still do some character building for him, but I don't know if it could be as much. But in terms of the presence of Vader, you can really capture that, I think, in this series. But who knows? Maybe they'll surprise everybody and they will put Vader in and they'll give him like more, you know, depth and development. And who knows what we could get from Vader in this series if he is indeed going to show up, which I think it seems like he will. And that's, my 5. So Kallus, Chuchi, Hondo, Cad Bane / Boba Fett, kind of a cheap one there, and Vader. So there's my 5. I guess an honorable mention goes to Barriss Offee. I'd love to see her a lot because, her and Ahsoka, maybe you do something there. And another honorable mention, you see, I'm just cheating now. Dogma. Please can we see Dogma? I lied. Third honorable mention, Slick as well. Those two, both, you know, considered traitors to the Republic, are kind of in different contexts. But Slick and Dogma, you know, this is a series about clones. Let's get some clones that we have no resolution for in this series. I think that'd be amazing. All right, I'll stop cheating and stop giving too many different characters here. But I think that, tell us in the comments what characters you want to see show up, what stories you think this series could, should, would explore. And I think without further ado, let's kind of wrap this up. Where is the stop button? Okay, there it is.